Well, this isn't going to work. Hello, everybody. Give me just a second. Oh, my God. My Twitch bot needs to be updated, and then I need to display my screen in the Discord properly, which right now is just a bunch of people. They're all waiting for me to get back so that we can start playing. But then the fucking Twitch bot's like, I must update. Wah. So now I gotta do that, and you could all stare at a black screen for a little bit. Hold on, I think it's almost done. Oh, bloody hell. What a way. What a way to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. After a long break. It's been over a week since I've been able to stream anything at all, and we're going to be streaming pen and paper role-playing games. So I think I'm almost ready here to join into the discussion already in progress. And there we are. Hello!
The guy who did Luke Cage, I think, is also walked off stage, left to other projects.
Oh yeah, but yeah, when all the Marvel leaves Netflix, I'll be like very interested to see where they go. And Phil is back.
Hello, I am. And why is my bot not correctly connected? It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm a professional streamer and not at all bad at it.
Fine here, nothing's here. How are you?
Nothing to see that involves me fucking up royally. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I definitely didn't do anything stupid. Like, well, first message in the chat is, sorry, I only watch professionals who have their shit together.
Is this one of those,
Thanks,
like paying no attention behind the man, the man behind the curtain?
Except that the man is the curtain, and he's yelling, "Don't look at me." I'm terrible at what I do.
Way to go, Phil.
It now says, why does it say you've reached 100 messages today with Restream chat? I have received one message. This is broken. Whatever. It's fine. Hi, everybody. Tonight I'm drinking alcohol. It's bourbon plus triple sec plus freshly squeezed lemon plus a tiny bit of amaretto. So it's actually quite good. So yeah,
What's
cheers.
the bourbon?
It is Tennessee honey. Actually, I think it might be whiskey. It's Tennessee honey, Jack Daniels.
All right. Just curious.
Good enough that I could drink it over ice. But this is more sweet and delicious. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. To recap, you are all on a space station, light years away from Earth. It took you many, many years to get there under subspace, which is the form of space travel that humanity until recently had perfected. And now your company, Musk Teflon Industries, created a jump gate, a stationary, faster-than-light travel platform. And shortly after they sent through their very first cargo container back to Jupiter Station in the solar system that we all know and love, a strange species of aliens showed up and destroyed the jump gate. Species that calls themselves the Feldar communicated with you through visions that suggested perhaps they had done so in order to save all of your lives. That they were being hunted by a different species out in space called the Wrath. A message from my wife, no doubt, that is going to tell me that I need to do something has just come through my phone. Because I'm a professional. Yep, I have to go get her ice cream. It's Chubby Hubby and a spoon, which is not me. It in fact refers to Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Let me 1 minute. Okay. I'll be right there, sweetie. This is how things go. Hold on. Is the screen now working? No, it's not. Hold on. I apologize. One more thing. There we go. Thanks, Dusty. I'm an idiot and did not have the right frame on. Fixed. Lol. Okay. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yes.
Getting your ice cream.
Yeah, well, let me finish the recap and then I'll go get her the ice cream. I literally just started and now it's like, okay.
You are going going to make your wife wait for ice cream?
You're right. That's a terrible idea. She'll cancel the whole stream. I'll be back in a minute, and then I'll tell you what happened next. They didn't even get through the recap, and we're off to commercials.
Atta boy. Get that
Bring your spoon so it'll hurt more.
No. You would think most of these guys would know by now what takes priority.
So does anyone have a good idea of how to distract engineering and get them over to play with the Feldar's new ship so I can let Tom broken ship?
Actually, I don't think you actually have to. As far as I know, Dock 3 is currently not guarded. It's not being observed.
It's not guarded. It's just full of the head engineering guys, people, and him. They're currently fully occupied Bay 3 and failing to make progress with the ship.
Right. So I mean, we just wait for an opportunity when we're not there. We may not actually have to go through any sort of scheme.
Yeah, I was just seeing it because they have much better progress playing with the aliens over on the working one.
And we're back. When the aliens finally arrived, they did not integrate well with human society. Specifically, the director of the station, Mr. Paul Reichman, thought that they were working with one of the other corporations back on Earth to sabotage Must Teflon Industries' new jump gate. He threatened to, and I quote, tase them, arrest them, and then shoot them, because they tried to communicate with him using their telekinesis powers, their psionic powers, and he didn't like that. But one of the things that makes the Feldar so special is that they have access to this fruit, this magical fruit that allows people to communicate telepathically, to read each other's minds and see visions. It's had mixed results. For example, our engineer has been able to move decades ahead in the science of propulsion technology, but also recently had his PIN information stolen by somebody walking by reading his mind. So there's that.
Yes. I don't see human society adjusting well to this.
It's been a bumpy road.
It's intermittent too. So
Yes, it also seems that the powers only last for a few hours before the organism, a parasite that lives inside of the fruit, dies out in the human immune system. With some people able to last longer than others, and some, it seems, unable to acquire the gift at all.
I have to say, some people are going to have a perfect good immune system and just be immune to it.
Just immune to it.
And someone's going to be susceptible to it forever or addicted. Humanity has bell curves for a reason.
Well, it does seem addicting, as some of the people in the party have eaten the fruit on multiple times. If only to regain that sweet, delicious high of being able to read other people's minds.
Mostly just to make it easier to talk with the Feldar.
Yeah, mainly.
Get more propulsion technology.
Yep. And where we last left off, the Feldar returned to their ship. Peter Langdon, the team's pilot, was able to fly it around for a little bit and get a little bit of a feel for how well it handles, and boy, does it handle. Like the hot rods of Earth, this thing is fast, it's quick, it responds to the mind, and it's very... well, it's great. It's an excellent flight ship. I'm stumbling over my words here. It's the best thing that Peter Langdon has flown since graduating pilot school. Since mostly has been flying around the equivalent of a giant RV or 18-wheeler for his adult life.
I went from a school bus to a sports car.
Sports car. Right.
Nero.
The latest information, it seems, is that the Feldar and Paul Reichman have a sort of minor understanding that perhaps, in return for the Feldar providing Musk Teflon Industries with some of their technology that then MTI can patent and market, the company will then fight the Wrath on the Feldar's behalf, since they are pacifists and do not have weapons at all. And humanity, has very liberal personal gun laws and allows people to carry pistols around on the station because, humans.
Well, I mean, we're at least we're not employees of the NRA.
Right. They own a small country outside Switzerland.
Are they still called the NRA, or have they changed their name again?
Well, it's called the NRA, but it's no longer a company for the National Rifle Association. It's literally a country. The National Republic of Automatics being weapons.
A very dangerous Liechtenstein.
Yep. We lost you there, Jim. You said something and your mouth was moving.
Don't worry about it. It's just a play on A. That's all.
Gotcha. And that's about where we're at. If anyone has anything they'd like to do before I sort of push the story along a little bit, please let me know. I'd be happy.
I think we're heading over to engineering to get engineering to talk to the aliens so Tom can play with the alien ship. Is I think what we're planning on doing next.
Okay.
Hey, there were two possible plans for getting Tom onto an alien ship. First one was to fake out the engineers so that Tom could steal the alien ship and run around with it for a little while, and to hell with the consequences. The other one was to talk with the head of engineering, the guy who was trying to get the ship to work, to investigate the broken ship, and explain to him that we've got someone who can operate it. Why don't you come with us and go for a ride?
I'm more than happy to bring the engineer along. There's probably video footage of the ship in Dock 5 lifting off a little bit and maneuvering a little bit. So,
yes, but has anybody seen that? These guys are kind of idiotically compartmentalized.
But the thing is, since that footage is out there, it's not going to be terribly hard to go, hey, look, someone knows how to operate this, and it happens to be me. I walk onto the ship.
Move too.
I walk onto the ship, it starts to doing a little maneuvers, it lands, and then I depart the ship. It shouldn't be that hard. Hopefully.
Well, let's see how much of a pissant he is.
All right. Is that what we're going to do next?
Sure,
I believe
apparently.
so.
Go for it.
Okay.
All I need is my morale compliance box to put on the ship.
Morale compliance box? Is that like a grenade inside of a box that says, if you're bad, open? Like
more something I want timed to the ship, so if he decides to warp gate out, it goes off.
Ah, I see. Okay.
You don't want to, fine. So I will get my morale compliance device.
So you guys walk down to Cargo Bay 5, where the Feldar ship that you acquired floating in space a few months ago, a few years ago, actually, but for you it's been about a month and some cryo sleep time, is being stored and worked on. And it is under less guard than the current active with alien population Feldar ship in Cargo Bay 3. But there is a guard there and an engineer there having a discussion and basically preventing access. They don't want anyone who's not authorized to be on the project into the cargo bay.
Is the engineer calling the shots?
It does. He's not the lead engineer. He's not the guy that you guys know as like the head engineer of the whole project. But he's definitely providing instructions to the officer, saying, hey, we've had several people come by here claiming that they want to go on and investigate the ship. No one is allowed unless they are, in this authorized manifest list here. These are the only engineers that we let in and out. You understand? And he's basically talking down to the guy. But, the guy is doing, yes, sir. I understand, sir.
I will go up to the main engineer, the one that is, somewhat barking orders. Or, saying these are all the people that are on the list. Afternoon? Ted, right?
Yes, Theodore. You can call me Ted.
Theodore, I came to offer you a special little opportunity. And I'll do my very best sales pitch voice.
Okay.
Ones that I've practiced on occasions over. Theodore, I think I've got an opportunity for you.
What exactly is that? And he reads your badge. Langdon. Oh, the pilot Langdon.
Yes.
The one who the Nero is yours, right? You brought the ship in.
Yes.
Okay. What can I do for you?
Well, Ted, have you been able to get any of these engines working?
Technically, that information is classified.
Well, Ted, tell you what, would you get any sort of status update if you could get these engines working?
What is the best skill for what you are attempting to do?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm absolutely crap at it, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't much matter. It'll probably be.
You could say con or diplomacy.
I would say diplomacy, because technically you are not lying. You are able to get. You know what though? Con is better for you. You may use that instead.
All right, I'll take my average of 1.
Now, please remember. Actually, I will throw in my 4 dice. Please remember that all these things are recorded for company prosperity. No bribery is allowed.
Okay, are you?
Yeah, hold on a second. Are you there, Ron?
I thought I was with you idiots. I
I
don't
think
know
we're
what I
all
see.
there.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
we were all over there.
I thought I was there by myself. I'm sorry, misinterpret. I'm like, Theodore, if you let me on board, I think I can show you how to activate this ship.
Okay. Ron is over your shoulder reciting to you company policy about being truthful with other silos, other engineers and work with, which of course aggravates you immensely and lets you add 4 dice to your roll.
All right. So
Which was your average of 3.
The average of 3 then.
You're going to take the average of 3? Okay.
I'll take the average of 3.
He ties you. So he is curious about your offer, but he does not feel like he's got the authority to simply let you in. So he'll tell you,
Hold on. As a fellow engineer, let's see. As a fellow engineer, let's see, what can I use? Can I do an empathy check to see if I can get him to swing our way?
rather than an empathy check, you actually know a little bit about the propulsion systems. Why don't you make your craft engineering roll? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I want to make him envious, curious enough to actually, want to play with it. Sell it to him.
God.
That is a terrible roll.
That is impressively terrible.
That's impressively terrible. We can have a little window here into this. You've rolled 10 dice and got 3 success. That's really bad.
That's so bad.
That is pretty bad. Unfortunately, you fumble over some of the details because you're having trouble remembering them. And it starts to come out a little bit like Wesley Crusher. Like, obviously, if you jettison the nanotubes into the Jeffries coil, and he quickly thinks like maybe this is not the best. Listen, I can't just let you in. I got to get you on the list first. I'm not the guy who writes the list. That belongs to our boss, whose name you've heard before, and I would have to look up.
Yeah, so Bob, yep.
I'll make one more attempt. As he's doing this, I'm going to make one more attempt. I'm like, Ted, if you don't take a little bit of initiative, you're always going to be the bottom rung of the engineering roll.
Ooh, this sounds like a threat. Let's roll a threat.
Threat? You want me to intimidate him?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
That's not as good for you.
No, it's not. I'm not a scary person.
I was
It's
just
more like I'm trying to bribe him more than scare him.
okay. If you wanna frame it as bribe,
Yeah.
let's re-roll
He gets
your.
something- He gets something out of this deal.
Yeah. Oh, I just got another message. Son of a bitch.
Oh, you want me in my little box?
No, Becky can't eat the ice cream. It tastes COVID-y to her. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Give me a roll, another con roll. Just a flat.
All right, fair enough. I believe I still get your +4, Ron.
If you're rolling con, yes.
Coolness. This time I might as well roll it.
I blew my 4 on this scene for you. So. And here I thought you'd been better at con.
No, not really. I don't interact terribly well with people.
I think my next goal is to basically either find out who's in charge and ask us to put on the list, or just mysteriously find a terminal and put us on the list.
Hmm.
Fairly sure we can cut through this bureaucratic red tape.
Yeah, but you bureaucratic right there.
Oh, I'm good at it. And if
All
I got a 2, sir.
Okay. Out of 6.
Yep.
Well, how did it go up to 6?
Because
Ron
it's
gives
still used to
me
be on.
+4.
Oh, and your normal con is a 2. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you pushed it up to a 2. Gotcha. Yep, that's the same as before. Okay. I'll re-roll my roll as well.
Please roll worse.
He did.
Yay.
Yep, he only got a 1 out of 4. All right, but you'll let him know that it was me who thought this was a good idea.
Absolutely.
And he takes the clipboard, and he writes Peter Langdon on it, and then he looks at the rest of you and he goes, "Do all of you need to go in? Because I think really just the pilot."
Actually, I think we should send you along because you're going to be more important to know exactly what he's doing. How
Right.
it works.
Would you like to come along, Ted?
Oh, of course I'd like to come along. It's important that I do. I could show you the ship. And he hands the clipboard to the guard and he says, "Remember, nobody except who's on this list." And then he goes in with Peter.
I give Ted my morale compliance box to take with him.
What's this?
My morale compliance box.
What does that do?
I sent you a private message about it.
Oh. No, but I mean, this is Ted asking, what does it do?
It shouldn't. It just make sure that morale is complied with. It shouldn't do anything at all as long as nothing goes wrong. It's fine.
He's visibly unnerved about what's in the black box. If I shake it, will it go off?
No. It will not go off. You shake it.
He shakes it a bit, and it goes thunka, thunka, thunka.
It rustles. It thunks and rustles.
Okay, I'll take this box with us. Okay, Peter, you and Theodore the engineer step into the cargo bay. You can see immediately that the ship is currently on the floor, tilted a bit to the side because the bottom is round. It's not fully contacting the floor.
Scaffolding for it.
Yeah, they just set it down, and they didn't build scaffolding or anything, but they've got like a rope ladder going up the side into it to help people get in and out. And there's all sorts of tools littering the ground near it, and they've got one of those panels on the back pried open. And it's just full of wires that are slightly disconnected. This thing has definitely started to decompose. Like, they've started to pull it apart, trying to figure out how it works or why it isn't working, etc. They haven't gotten far. It looks like, and the engineer will tell you, we haven't been able to break through a lot of these things. The materials are just stronger than anything that we are capable of blasting through without potentially damaging the critical components. And he takes the box that he has and he tosses it on the ground because he has no interest in holding what may be a grenade.
I will yell at them from a distance.
You don't see this? You are outside.
So
Appliance box is going to be left in the floor.
so my box is going to be left on the alien ship on the floor, correct?
Nope. It's on the floor of the cargo bay. You lose, sir.
Curses!
He's not bringing this on the very valuable ship when you basically told him that it's to enforce morale. But he leads you up into the ship. There are two other engineers there, and they are just... One of them is holding a blowtorch to where you know that a panel should be, but is not open. And they're just like, this is the hottest torch that we have. It is an industrial-grade steel melting, blowtorch. I cannot get through this, sir. And the guy's like, you got to keep trying. If I don't get anything, this project is going to get canceled faster than your stock options. Like, you got to get through. And then he turns and looks at you and he goes, what the fuck? Who's this?
I'll look at the engineers like I should be remembering their name. I'll be like, Mike, right. Tell you what, Mike, I'm going to show Ted here how to rev up the engines. Maybe you'd like to come aboard and take a look as well.
You guys are on board.
I thought we were only in the bay.
No, you're on board now. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, you guys both went up and dropped in. These two are inside. Mike is the engineer currently using the blowtorch. You can see from his label. But it looks like the lead engineer, and this is the guy who's in charge of the project. We'll call him Jeffries, Mr. Jeffries. He is standing there with his arms folded. He's like, I specifically said that no one except for my team be allowed here. And who is this guy? He's asking Ted.
Yep, I will reach over, and if it's a relatively easy process, I will ignite the engine.
Okay.
While he's in mid-sentence.
You think about starting the engine, and it doesn't respond. You get the sensation that what you did was right, but it isn't functional. Make a... Let's do another skill check.
Engineer.
Electronics might work. Let's do a electronics craft electronics roll.
I'll take my average of 2.
Okay. You think to yourself, well, if the engines aren't starting, maybe I can do something else that will impress them. And you go through a couple different things. Do this, do that, do that. And eventually, the window opens, the view screen. And the shield retracts from it. And both of the engineers in the room stand up. Well, one of them's already standing. The other one stands up and turns off the blowtorch and is like shocked. And then bloop, it turns on, displaying the interior of the cargo bay. At which point Jeffries goes, "Holy shit! Did you do that?"
Yes, I did.
How did you do that?
I point out the various instruments that I am fiddling with.
Okay. You point at some things and they do open and some things don't. You're able to manipulate some of them, but not all of them. It looks like perhaps the ship has been damaged in a way that not everything is operational, including the engine. But you open a few of the panels, including the one that the guy was blowtorching, who then looks over at Jeffries and goes, "It worked. We opened the panel, sir. We can begin dissecting the ship." And he goes, No, don't dissect the ship. If he's getting parts of it running, we can get way more out of that. What's your name? Langdon. The pilot. You're the pilot of the Nero. Right?
I'm the pilot of the Nero. I brought the ship in.
You're on my team. I don't care who you're working for at the moment. You're working for us now. I want this thing flying. Can you do that?
Absolutely.
And he stares at you expectantly.
So I will do my very best to figure out just how badly this thing is screwed up, how much repair has to be done before it will actually take off. Again, I'll take my average of 2.
Okay. Your guess is that something they did, or perhaps some damage that it took when it crashed through the other ship years ago, damaged the power supply to the engines, and also a few of the other. Almost knocked over my drink. A few of the other consoles here may be run on the same power line, but you just go through and you're like, open this, open this, open this, just trying to anything that you can think of. If it looks like it can be opened, and the doors on the side, like to the bathroom and the storage room, they open and close because you're just trying to open everything. Eventually, you settle on just what is available, and with a 2, you don't really know what all these things are, but the engineers start looking and scrambling and such, and one of them goes, "Sir, there's been an explosion under this console," and he's pointing out like burnt, circuitry. I don't know if we can fix it, but I think this might be why it's not working. And he kneels down next to it and he pokes around and he's like, hey, it's advanced, but it is kind of similar to some of the stuff that we use. Maybe the Feldar can help us replace it. And he just reaches in and yanks out one of these burnt out coils. And he holds it up and he's like, I don't know what the power source is, but maybe we can get a spare. And he looks over at you, Peter, and he's like, I don't know how you did it. I don't actually give a shit. I'll figure it out eventually. But you have just saved my ass. So if you want to come in here and make things work, go right ahead. I have to take this up to Reichman's office right away.
Can I see your personnel list?
Yeah. And the other guy says, well, I actually left it with the guard. But you can see it.
Do you
Yes, I have a list.
Well, so I'll ask the engineer. Do you have an Arthur Robinson on the list?
No, Arthur is he's assigned to sort of generic repairs.
You might want to put him on the list. He saw this ship when we found it in deep space. He's had a little bit more time working with it or looking at the inner workings.
Well, I tried to get him, but he was assigned to the Jump Gate project under Devad, and I wasn't able to reassign him at the time.
All right, fair enough.
But if you can get Devad Goldenstein to reassign him to my department, I can do that.
I'll do my best. We'll see what we can do. All right. In the meantime, anything that you try to disassemble, maybe you can put them back the way you found it?
My main goal here is to find out how the technology works and duplicate it, if possible. So if we can get the ship up and running, that would be great. Tremendous. Then we would know at least everything's working. He holds up the burnt part. This is my problem. I cannot get it to work without this a functioning version of it, and I have to figure out what it is, why it's broken, and if we can manufacture a new one, or if the Feldar have spares. So that's what I'm going to do, and if you could help my team in any way, great. Otherwise, try to stay out of their way, because we need to figure out what is patentable here.
Tom, are you gonna tell them about the fact that they're getting that there's a good chance of getting the
Elder engineer.
Feldar to work with us on actually setting up ship production?
I'm not telling them that. At least not at the present time. But that'll come down the pipe eventually. All right, so I'll go talk with some of the engineering crews, with some of the other engineering crews, see what we can arrange. But yeah, I realize you're trying to find things that are patentable, but if you do in fact disassemble this ship and it's not going to work disassembled, we're not going to get anywhere, and no one's going to make any money.
We will definitely categorize and write down anything that we change and move. Everything has been meticulously recorded, so we can put everything back the way it was in 30 minutes. I mean, up till now, that's as far as we were able to get. Other than, of course, this burnout coil, which is useless to you anyway. Most of it's actually where it is. The only panel we were able to remove was on the outside, and that's because it was severely damaged when it struck the Wesson.
When I was opening and closing doors, did I happen to open up or close the door to the fruit storage on the ship?
Yes.
While it's open and even under the observation of all these engineers, I'm going to grab about a half a dozen of them.
So the problem is these fruits are all decayed. In fact, they've actually been cleaned out because they smelled bad. So the whole room has kind of been emptied and is like partially sterilized. The fruit was dumped off in biology a long time ago.
You're ruining my profit margin.
Sorry, yeah.
You guys.
It was, at best, it was pear soup.
Well, remember, this ship's interior was exposed to outer space, too.
Right, unlike the Feldar ship, which has an airlock and you have to wear a face mask, this one here is fully under the atmosphere of the station.
Okay. So yes, I will leave Ted, Jeffries, Mike, and the rest of the gang, and look at passing glance at the morale compliance cube in the corner of the cargo bay as I walk past it.
It sits there looking menacingly.
As well it ought to. And then I will return to the group.
Okay.
I will request the return of my morale compliance device. It's bad to leave it on the ship.
What's not on the ship?
Where is it?
It's around the corner, on the floor, between a couple of crates.
Yeah, I'll go get that then.
I'm sorry, sir. You can't go into the cargo bay. You're not on the list.
Would you please collect my morale compliance device that Ted brought in? It's not supposed to be there.
Fine. I will go into the cargo bay and retrieve his morale cube. And I will hand it back to him.
We'll open it up, and inside are all the morale compliance, are inside of the morale compliance forms.
Devad's companion cube has been returned to him, and it's filled with forms.
Seriously, I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking about a companion cube.
The next one will be covered with hearts instead of just a black box.
As well it should.
They want to allow glitter on a spaceship. It does terrible things to the air filtration.
Mm.
But yes, Devad needs a companion cube.
Glitter was strictly banned.
All right. When I return to the group, all three of you are there. Arthur, I tried to get you on the engineering team, but apparently we need Devad to sign off on it.
Okay. Well, we'll see what he says.
Devad's right there.
Yeah.
You're talking in front of him.
All right, let's see what he says. And I look at him.
Do you think you could do any good in there? I mean, all right. Will you do less bad in there? Let me rephrase that.
Oh, what a burn! I think I opened one of the outside doors just to do it. So.
You'd have to be closer to the ship. Yeah.
We're outside.
No, you're outside of the cargo bay. You're like
Outside the cargo bay? Oh.
you're like 200 feet away. Yeah. And there's a gigantic steel door in between you.
I'm trying to get you access to the ship.
Wait.
How much damage?
Did Mike steal you from me?
Jeffries wants to steal Arthur from your team. According to Peter.
Notification he's already stolen Tom. Mr. Langdon is being transferred. Like, what the
fuck? No, Devad, you know that in order to switch somebody from your team to theirs, either you both would need to agree or would need to come from higher up. And although Jeffries is the head of engineering on the station, he is not the head of HR. And therefore, you being in the bureaucracy, in our little space game. You have say before you start moving people around. However, if you are, what's the word here? If you're creating a plot to take over the Feldar spaceship engineering stuff, having a man on the inside, that works just as well as having him on your team.
Yeah, I was actually considering if I could move my. You need a bureaucrat because you're obviously not getting anywhere because you don't know about the following.
Yep.
I can also create the proper paperwork if I need it.
We'll see. We'll settle all that shit later. But in the short term, you're going to lend.
Yes, I'm going to lend him some of my personnel.
Yep.
And
then
he doesn't need my doctor.
You'll try to take over that project later, once you can prove that it's being mismanaged or whatever. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to do before you all go to sleep for the night after having a very lovely and very eventful day?
Sleep sounds good.
At some point, I would like to also schedule a full medical exam for myself.
Okay.
Take care of that.
I was going to say, do you want Matthias to do it, or do you want somebody else to do it?
Whomever. Basically, I just want your typical stuff: blood work, blood pressure.
Okay.
It's been a long while since I've had my insurance physical. I need a new one.
Sure. Stop by the med bay tomorrow. I'll get it taken care of.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty. A quick little, doctor's appointment set up, and you all head to, dinner. Have yourself some spam. It's the fake version of spam. And then
How could it be a fake version of spam?
it's the future. Things are dark. Artificial spam. It's almost like the real thing.
On the upside, at least all the extra stuff from that sale is gone. Oh.
Yeah. And for some reason, the station is offering a meal that recently you claimed they were supposed to be giving out, and then there was a riot, and then in order to calm people down, they found a way to get that meal out there. I forget exactly what it was. Something like roast beef sandwiches or something.
Yes, something.
That was a
And
glorious
one of the
day.
desserts is suspiciously chopped up pear.
Yeah, right. It's made out of people. Shut up. Nobody cares. We know.
I know. I've deleted most of those notes.
In the morning, you all have mixed results sleeping. Obviously, incredible shit has happened in the last 24 hours, so some of you may need to take some additional medicine in order to bring yourself down for sleep. But after a night's rest, you all wake up, and strangely enough, you all have emails. Important, critical marked documents that come from official sources within the station. Who would like to go first?
I'll go for it.
All right, Jim, yours. Mr. Robertson, please report to Cargo Bay 3 to attach human weaponry to the Feldar spaceship, per the orders of the director of the station, parentheses, Paul Reichman. Signed, your supervisor.
All right. Does it say where I'm supposed to pick up these human weapons?
No, it does not. That was the entirety of the email. And it does not actually have your supervisor's name. It literally just says, your supervisor.
Supervisor.
But it comes from an internal email box belonging to the engineering department on the station.
Okay. All right. So I'll head down and see if they provide me with the weapons they want me to attach.
Okay. As you get dressed and head down to Cargo Bay 3, Devad, Peter, or Matthias, who's going next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
All right, Devad. Devad, you have several email. In fact, it takes you about 30 minutes to get through all of your normal corporate emails. And then you notice one that stands out a little bit. It's got one of those red exclamation points that the last 15 also had that says, you must address this immediately. It says, Devad, read this article. Provide me a 5-page report on the impacts to our company and potential merger/takeover impacts from phytosynthetics or other major players in the space market. It contains a link to an article that you quickly browse, noting that MTI's stock has dropped 400 points in the wake of news that the jump gate has failed in the Wolf Outpost. When you're done, I need the quarterly performance reports on all the employees you have worked with in the last year. Then I need you to eat some of the fruit. It's signed, Supervisor. Jim's listening as shit.
Yes. Take your moment. Long list. Fuck you. Okay.
Ron, can you please make a bureaucracy roll on this?
I'll be polite until I'm not. Let's see. Find the right screen. Here's
By the way, this email comes from the head of Human Resources.
Oh, do I know this?
Well, you know that his name is not Supervisor.
Yes. Stop that. Stop helping.
And you don't know him on a personal level.
All right. Something's going. Stop that. All right. I am experiencing technical difficulties. I will be right back.
Okay. We'll handle Ron's bureaucracy roll later, once he's resolved his technical difficulties.
Right click is causing a ring instead of doing anything useful.
Matthias,
Yes, sir.
you have an email as well.
All right. Well, I'll get past all the medical announcements for the day, and then.
Yep, it's a lot of boring stuff. New techniques for blood transfusions back on Jupiter Outpost, things of that nature. You find a very simple email. Please report to Cargo Bay 3 at the earliest solar cycle to distribute fruit to the population of the space station. It is signed, Dr. Supervisor.
The aliens actors.
And it comes from the Chief Medical Officer on the station.
Mm-hmm. No shit, sure. Oh, I had deleted that line. It is no longer being helpful. I used to...
Peter,
Hooray, it's done ringing.
you have only one email today. Nobody ever emails you. You find it just tacky and ask people not to email you. But you have one today. And it says, P. Langdon, please report to your friends, the Feldar, in Cargo Bay 3 for flight training. Superior.
Not supervisor.
Not Supervisor. Superior. And it comes from an empty email address. It's just showed up in your email box with no sender.
I like it.
Alright, do this first. Copy all that to a plain text and say revert document.
See, now Devad is actually role-playing him filling out these forms that he was supposed to do.
I wonder if our lovely aliens have figured out how to hack our system.
That's curious. Devad, I'm assuming you're going to have some more trouble with rolling your dice for a bit, so we can continue without it.
I can do it in just a moment.
Honestly, I think your bureaucracy is very high. I think you're going to figure out...
My half would be 3.5. My half is 3.5. I have a bureaucracy of 7+.
Okay. I think you're going to figure out pretty quickly, with a decent roll, that this is the exact kind of email you would send to someone if you wanted to keep them busy all day. Doing fuck all. If someone was on your shit list and you just wanted them to be distracted, this is the exact... Those performance reports are not due for another 3 months.
The fact of the matter is and eat a piece of fruit at the very top.
It does seem a little weird that you would be ordered to eat the fruit, which you specifically have been against for a while. Then I need you to eat some of the fruit, Supervisor. All four of you step out of your rooms after, doing your morning email routines and whatnot. And there is a buzz about the station. People are running down the hallways, reports in their hands, just frantically checking the news, or seemingly running back and forth between places.
All right, so it's more widespread than it's just us. What I need is access to a computer terminal so I can figure out who the fuck hacked us and made our lives miserable. Can someone tell the aliens to knock us the fuck off?
Well, you do know where they live. You could go tell them directly. But it seems like everyone has a lot of work to do today and is running around trying to get it all done.
So they can get to the fruit distribution party.
Right. I mean, some people are walking by going, where the fuck am I supposed to get one of those alien pears? Why am I being told to eat the pears? Dr. Supervisor said that I have to get the pears. Just running down the hall.
I need to get a hold of effectively the intercom system and tell everyone to knock it the fuck off.
Actually, you should get to Reichman and have him issue the...
Yeah, you're right, actually. Let's go persuade Reichman or Reichman's secretary.
Yeah,
So I have my morning task.
it's very quickly apparent when you meet up with your team that everyone got a weird email this morning.
I may not meet with him. I may meet with Reichman first just to stop this bullshit first.
Okay, so Devad says, I'm going to go talk to Reichman and get this shit stopped. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna go on the hangar and see if they've actually put weapons there for me to check them out. Just out of curiosity.
Okay.
I'm going to go to deck 3.
Okay. Cargo Bay
Yeah.
3.
Let's... Tom, did you tell us at all about what repairs need to be done on the 1 and 5?
I probably told Arthur. I mean, if you guys
We were all there, so it wasn't...
yes.
Yeah,
It would
you...
be a good time for you and Arthur to talk to the Feldar about if they have any spare parts or can lend assistance fixing the other ship.
That is true.
Okay.
Arthur, do you want to be part of this, or do you want me to go talk to him?
You go talk to them. I'm gonna look for weapons because actually I think putting weapons on a ship is a good idea.
Yeah, but the Feldar aren't going to want weapons on their ship, I would think.
Well, they might if they're gonna loan it to us to fight the Wrath.
That's true. But if we can get the other ship working, that would make more sense to put the weapons on that one.
Yeah, but okay. So let me just go see if they actually stuck anything down there. Or I'm supposed to go hunt for weapons too.
Okay.
Don't run around. Just go talk to Jax. You have an official email that gives you permission, remember?
Good
That's
point.
true.
All right, let me go do that.
Yep. Okay, so Devad, you're running off to find Paul Reichman. And the other 3 of you are going down to Cargo Bay 3.
Yep.
We'll handle that first. So, as you approach Cargo Bay 3, you see a number of individuals running back and forth to the door, and most of them appear to be leaving things. You've got, as you come by, a forklift is, beeping, beep, 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 and it slowly lowers a crate that has a massive warning label on the side. Military-grade explosives. Do not touch, etc.
Wow. His morale compliance devox is much sexier.
There are people, engineers, scientists, and guards who are simply placing everything from pistols to crates containing spaceship-sized machine guns in front of Cargo Bay 3. And a lot of them are holding clipboards or, PDAs or whatever that are basically like, okay, I got that done. Now I got to go and do this other thing. And what has happened is there is a stockpile of weapons, or to use the term, human weaponry, in front of Cargo Bay 3.
The guard is probably standing there going, what the fuck is going on?
The sealed cargo bay doors have been opened, which has not happened since the Feldar arrived. And you could see the Feldar are talking to a number of people that are standing around their ship, and they're handing out fruit, just giving them small baskets filled with the pears, and instructing them where to put things. They're like, put that over there, and it's like a AR-15 rifle, like put it over there, please. And as you as you walk up, you could clearly see that something is in the works.
Well, yeah.
So, say good morning.
As you approach, they wave their hands very high, and they have these long, lanky arms, and they're waving over. And everybody kind of turns and looks at you, and they're all like, I don't care. I've got things to do. And they run off, bustling in groups. Hello! Your supervisors have instructed you to help us arm the ship, yes?
No.
You're not there, Ron.
Mr. Langdon is going to learn how to fly and shoot so he can destroy the Feldar. This is very good.
The rat, you mean?
The Wrath, sorry. Yes, I did. So he can destroy the Wrath with the Feldar. It is a smart decision that your station managers and supervisors have decided upon.
I think my guess was right.
We found our computer systems easy to get into, huh?
We did! It was very easy when we read the security codes from some of the officers. We felt this was the most efficient way to get things done, now that we have formed an alliance.
I love it.
Seriously, these two deserve their own freaking.
Mr. Langdon, would you like to fly through the obstacle course that we have assembled outside of the station?
Absolutely.
And they both nod with big smiles and expressions. We are pleased. We will wait until you get back to install the human weaponry. And then they lead you on the ship. Arthur, what are you doing?
Can one of you stay back so we can talk about the human weaponry?
Sorry?
Can one of you stay here and talk with me about the human weaponry?
Yes. Samael will remain here and discuss the weaponry. And he looks down at all the weaponry and he goes, some of this weaponry does not appear appropriate for the ship.
I nod. And I say, can I have a pair?
Yes! We are sending pairs throughout the station.
I'm just picturing these two aliens being thoroughly, disappointed that a wrist rocket is not actually a rocket.
Perhaps our instructions were not clear. It will be easier to explain when everyone has consumed the fruit. We wish for large space weapons. Yes, the Feldar are the Feldar need dangerous weapons to fight the dangerous Wrath. Here's a pair.
So we can think of each other about weaponry and power requirements and how we're going to fit and everything else.
Yeah.
Also, then talk to them about fixing the other ship if it's possible.
I don't know. The problem is I wasn't inside, so I don't know what's broken. They're going to have to talk with Peter about that.
I will do this while we're in mid obstacle course. I'll be like, oh, by the way, this ship over here could use the following parts.
Okay.
But first, all I'm thinking of is right now is I want this thing to fly.
Yeah, pretty much as soon as you get in and the thing hovers a bit, one of the little lackeys who's been running around doing stuff runs over to the console, presses a bunch of buttons, and then instructs everyone in the cargo bay to get the fuck out of the cargo bay.
Oh, and by the way, I always, before I activate any ship, I always have to do my own little private superstition ritual. So I do this in front of the alien.
Okay. And you're with, I believe it's Grebe. Let me check here.
I mean, there was Grebe.
Yep, you're with Grebe. Grebe looks at you very confused. And tilts his head to the side. He's like, how does this help with flying the spaceship?
Well, so long as I do this, I don't crash.
You have confounded the alien. You will not crash because you are good at piloting.
He's good at piloting because he does the visual.
Because I did this.
And Feldar ships have many safety measures. You will be fine. You do not need to do these rituals and say the words about Mary.
I mean, if the pilot chair has a swivel, I have to swivel three. I have to swivel counterclockwise and then back clockwise.
It does in fact swivel. It is one of the most comfortable chairs you have sat in the last 5 years of your life.
But yes, this will prevent me from crashing.
I do not believe this has any bearing on your ability to fly. However, we have time as people evacuate before the depressurization begins. So you may swivel as much as you like, sir. So as Peter, everyone's being ushered out of the space, out of the cargo bay because they're about to depressurize it. And then the giant wall begins, the door begins to, slowly close. Beep, 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 and other space noises.
You can't just say other space noises, Phil.
I can do whatever I like. Other space noises. Beep, boop.
Yes, Phil, that's telling him.
There you go. That'll show him I'm serious about space. It takes several minutes to close the doors, and everyone is like getting very confused. Like, I just set a box of handguns down in there. It's gonna blow out the airlock.
No, they depressurize slowly. Nothing's gonna go flying out.
No, this guy just doesn't know what he's talking about.
But he thinks it, right? So I think back at him, no, that's not what happens.
So Stan, you're given 3 pairs in a basket with the instruction to distribute them. We are running out of pairs. Has everyone consumed them yet?
I have no idea.
You haven't eaten one recently, so you're not aware as to the amount of psionic energy that's building up in this part of the station. But there are a lot of people eating pears right now, and there's occasionally an outburst of panic and an outburst of euphoria. Like, 2 people just started making out because they secretly realized that they were attracted to each other, and there was nothing left to stop them. And it's just, there's a lot of chaos going on that has nothing to do with the pairs, and now we've added that into the mix. And so he hands you the basket, and this is Samael, and he goes, "We need to grow these. Do you have soil on the station?"
We have a botanical section, yes.
Excellent. You should uproot all of the vegetables that are there and replace them with these. In 10 years, there will be enough trees for everyone. And he just hands you the fruit. Go and plant them.
I will get this to the botanical department.
This is good.
I will take them to what's her name, the xenobiologist.
Take them to what's her name. This is J. Kara. Okay. So you head off to see her, to tell her that you've got pears that you've been asked to plant. Peter is about to do the space obstacle course, and Arthur is
taking inventory of all the weapons.
Yeah, he's taking inventory and also trying to get that part, to discuss the part that... Oh, actually, no, sorry, Peter said he would do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out power source and what we could get available to power weapons, or does it have to be entirely self-contained, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so as long as you're able to connect these devices, you think you have a few things that you might be able to mount to the outside of the ship. Although it does occur to you suddenly that if anyone above you who didn't get an email from their supervisor decides that you shouldn't be doing this, you could be in a shitload of trouble.
I haven't ordered. Nobody's told me to stop yet.
I mean, you do have a very official email from the head of engineering.
What I was thinking of is I'd make a harness that for on the outside of the ship, like a strap around the whole thing.
Yep.
And then mount our stuff onto that is what I was thinking.
Yep.
They repair it.
This is not a 1-hour job, though. You're thinking this could take a week to integrate your technology with theirs.
Definitely, but this is fun.
Yeah, but it's a whole new set of problems. Like, fuck propulsion. Who cares about light space? I'm gonna blow some shit up.
That's a very human response.
It's gone from engineering to Mythbusters. Real fast.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yep. It is about this time that you hear over the loudspeaker as Divad is running down the hallway to get there, the voice of Paul Reichman. This is Paul Reichman. Everyone, continue to do what you're doing. It's very important. I have to get back to another meeting, but it's very important that I tell you all that you're doing a great job, and you should keep doing it. Okay, seriously, where the fuck is my next meeting?
I will attempt to have I get in there to deal with this, and did you see my message?
It is about this time that you run up to Paul Reichman's secretary, whose desk is like sort of in the middle of the hallway. And she is handling a 1920s switchboard of calls. Like, she's like plugging things as fast as she can. Hold, please, I'll connect you to... sorry, Mr. Reichman's not available right now. He's got several... and she's like going through like crazy. And for several minutes, you're trying to get her attention, and she's just...
If I can't get her attention, I go around her. Whatever direction she's not facing, I just go around the other side saying, I have permission to wave a piece of paper at her in the morale compliance box.
Yep.
And go in.
Yep, and she yells something like, yeah, as she continues to answer these calls. Normally, there'd be guards here, but for some reason, they've been reassigned. And you walk into Paul Reichman's office, and he's not there. What is there, however, are three people who are standing around looking fucking confused. They look over at you as if maybe you're the person they're waiting for, and then they all go, oh. And they get kind of sad, and they look down at their email PDAs, like, meet with Paul Reichman about the thing.
So I'm assuming you all got stupid emails too, and you are all actually obeying them. Security here is stupider than fuck. You fell for it. I can't believe... I will take command of them, and... Who are they? And what are they actually in charge of?
But this comes from the chief of science sent me.
And I will actually use bureaucracy on them to attempt to explain that it is not filed properly in triplicate. There is no secondary form of the server, and who the fuck signs it that way? We all have to sign these. Remember?
Go ahead and make a bureaucracy roll.
Go back over to main game. God, these people have their heads up their ass.
Oh yeah. No, this has worked remarkably well, which is kind of sad.
Oh, it's depressingly sad. We deserve this at this point now.
We deserve. I welcome our new pacifist overlords.
Well, if they were patient, they could take us. They could literally take over the human race in 10 years just by getting everyone addicted to pears. We're patient.
4 out of 7 successes. Do I need to pump it with? Or is that going to be enough?
Nope, that's enough. You explain, like...
No, I'm not much to explain as I am now taking charge of this disaster.
You're yelling at them, like, clearly, Section 104A states that you must sign not only with your full name, but also your department. And one of the guys go, hey, supervisor's misspelled. This isn't legit.
Now... Before this gets reported to morale and human resources, let's get... Who are they and what are they in charge of roughly to see if I can basically get things to calm the fuck down. Also, let's lock Reichman in his office and I'm taking over for him for a while.
All three of these people are different bureaucrats. They are guys that are in your department, essentially. And so, like, they're here because they were under the impression that if they didn't immediately go and report their numbers directly to Paul Reichman, their supervisor was going to get pissed. And rather than spend a bunch of time to go, wait, should I really be doing this? Is this really the best use of my time? They just fucking did it.
Yep.
And it's clear to you that a lot of people in the station are doing the same thing.
Yep.
But Paul Reichman is nowhere to be found.
Right. Where is system comms? Where is the station comms? Are you the one Reichman just broadcast from?
If you have the right passcodes, you could probably access it from any of the meeting rooms.
Or the boss's office. I'm fairly sure he has control.
Yes, he does, but you'll need his passcode.
I will direct with the guys. Go to the secretary's, unplug her phone, and then demand to know where Reichman is.
Okay. One of them goes, yeah, that'll show these fake emailers. And he runs out there and he unplugs the phones. To which you hear a slapping noise.
Yep, that's why he's doing it, not me.
And then you hear a woman yelling, and he's yelling back, and then she comes into the office, her hair is, like, completely a mess. And she's like, where the fuck is he?
That's what so you don't know either? goody. Where does he have access to comms? And hang on, I'm going to sit down and try 1, 2, 3, 4, see if it's his password.
She's like, look at this shit. And she holds up a PDA to you. And it's Paul Reichman's agenda. And he has 54 meetings every hour. She's like,
he's busy. Do any of them require him talking off the station?
This has never happened before.
And it won't happen again. It's basically a bullshit routine to keep him busy. He is now out of our hair. What do we need to do? Well, he's busy.
She steps behind the desk, and she's like, what do you need?
Log me in so I can then, delete, cancel the emails, tell everyone to sit down.
Okay.
And then figure out what the hell the aliens want.
She sits behind his chair and goes, tick, 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 tick. And his email box opens up, and it is scrolling emails coming back to him. Just
minimize it. Minimize it. Yeah. Nev, don't care.
I'm giving her all she's got. The email servers are overloaded.
In fact, if we want to unplug those too.
It looks like someone has just set it up to constantly email him every couple of seconds. Different reports are coming in from the system. And
go down to the software department and just literally unplug it. Then get the goons to clean it up and start over.
Yep, one of them goes, "That's not my job," and then
I don't care. It's your job now if you want to have a job.
You stare at him angrily, and he's like, "Yeah, all right, I'll go down there."
Remember, you're a management. Our job is to delegate. Find the person whose job it is and make them do it.
He takes off running, and then she shuts down the email box. She types in some more codes, and she's like, he is in conference room F right now.
And how long will he be there for meetings? The next 6 years, I assume?
I have no idea. As soon as he figures out something's wrong, he'll come back here, but I don't think that he's going to.
Not for a bit. Okay, good. Sorry, no one saw that.
Wow.
Wow.
What? I now have a space station.
I have a space station. So
bunch of obviously easily duped morons, and I probably should not monologue out loud.
Ron, can you make a roll for me? This would be a perception roll.
Okay, which of the guards is perception? Perception is a real stat, not a thing. Perception is 7 dice. Okay. Remember, that doesn't work, so we can't bang for that.
Peter Langdon, can you make me a piloting roll?
And do I have any warnings? Does he have any alarms set up for things like the bay door opening, or is he that sloppy?
Oh, this would not be his job.
I'll take my average of 3.
Okay, you take your average of 3. Ron, you're not going to notice this.
Now, I pushed it to a 3 if I can.
In the television adaptation of what's happening, you are sitting down at his desk trying to basically access the comms. And Paul Reichman has a very nice plasteel window behind his desk. And behind it, a bunch of circular rings have been constructed hastily by people who received very confusing orders that they blindly followed this morning. And as you're sitting down trying to figure out what's going on with the station, a green crescent ship goes through a couple of these rings.
And I don't notice this.
As Peter Langdon goes, woohoo! As he zips through a hastily constructed obstacle course right outside your window. But you don't notice because you're focused on the bureaucracy. Okay. Moving back. What was your goal, Devon?
Basically to circular file. Basically, I need to purge the email server to get rid of all the garbage. Basically, I want to nuke the PDAs. I want to recontrol the system. I want to leave Reichman in his box where he's harmless for a few minutes.
Gotcha. So,
I'm just putting myself in charge for a short period since these people are apparently sheep.
Gotcha. Make a computers roll. You know that Reichman was able to shut down external network access when the jump gate blew up.
I don't so much need to do it myself. I need to basically use Reichman's office to yell at the person who can know how to do it and get them to do it.
Right.
Versus myself.
You might be able to do it yourself, and that would be quickest. So make a computers roll.
Say computer science? Okay.
Yeah, comp sci. Yeah.
Don't be stupid this time, please. 3, got my half.
Okay. You are able to shut down internal communications to the station. You can't figure out how to keep them up and also disable all of the incoming emails, but you basically shut them down, and all emails are just going to bounce. They're not going to go through. They're going to get stuck in a queue, and hopefully by the time that you bring it back up, you'll have wiped the slate so that no one's going to get them, and reply all gate of 2300 will stop, which is essentially what you're at. Is you're in reply all gate.
Now computers should actually be able to function. We can do other things, and people will stop responding to. Now I need internal comms, and basically, everywhere that isn't Reichman's office, just in sections, start telling them to, if things were sent in error, please respond to your supervisor in person or authorized professor.
Right. So
okay, let's see. Things we wanted.
With Stephanie's help, you're able to access internal comms and send out a generic message. Whatever it is that you'd like to say, go ahead and say it. It's going out to the whole station. Hopefully you won't get fired.
Hopefully.
Email. Yeah. Malicious external people from Phytosynthetic have infiltrated our security system, and we have been spammed with unnecessary email. Thank you for your glorious immediate compliance to all these demands, but we need, in the name of Paul Reichman, for you to calm down and resume your normal studies. Please personally contact Mr. Devad for what your current projects are and what you were asked to do, so we may sort out and see which of these things is valid and may continue. Thank you for your participation, and Mr. Reichman, continue to enjoy your meetings. Thank you. Good day. Click.
Okay. The rest of you, except for Peter, who's currently flying around the space station through hoops and under and over things, hear a very hastily worded message from your friend Devad Goldenstein that you should stop everything and report directly to him.
No, I wanted to report with... Oh, fuck.
Stephanie looks up at you and goes, "Did you just coup the station? Did you really want everyone to report to you directly?" And the one bureaucrat who's left in the room looks over at you and goes, "Sir, what am I supposed to do?"
Start sorting the emails that are about to arrive. Sit at that box and begin.
He sits down.
Just categorize them into categories. I want to know what was being ordered. It's mostly stop eating the damn fruit. I mean, just dear God.
He sits down and starts looking at the emails. Click, click, click. These are all reports. Some of these aren't even important. They're just like...
Then file it and keep moving. Just categorize them. Good God, how bad are you?
My God, somebody had to count all of the paper clips in storage closet 7 individually. There are...
So find the poor bastard and get... All right, just...
He holds his head up and he goes, "There are 32,743.
All right, they are useless and you're useless. Stephanie, how do I call everyone to somewhere? Literally physically pull people away to make this break.
She goes, "Well, if you plug my phone back in, it's just going to light up constantly, but you can clear line 1.
Yay.
Who do you need to call?"
How big is our auditorium? Or the gym or the cafeteria? Can the cafeteria hold everyone?
The cafeteria cannot hold everyone. In fact, there's really nowhere on the station that can hold everyone within speaking distance. You're gonna have to use comms if you want to communicate to everyone at once. The cafeteria is one of the largest rooms, other than, of course, the cargo bays.
All right, fine. I start yelling at people.
Okay.
I can do my Reichman drinks.
It's about the time that you're yelling at people that Paul Reichman comes wandering down the hallway, screaming that someone has tried to usurp him. And he's also yelling about those goddamn people at Phytosynthetics who hacked into his system and filled his calendar with meetings, and why didn't anyone show up to these meetings?
Because Photosynthetic is evil, and they only send for you, sir. I think we got control of this for you.
I've been in meetings since 4 a.m, and not a damn person has shown up to any of them. Phytosynthetics just filled my calendar with useless meetings.
Treacherously evil of them, sir.
They're so treacherous and evil. I bet those damn aliens had something to do with this. They're working with phytosynthetics. Nothing was wrong until they showed up and blew up my jump gate. And then he walks into his office and he screams at some guy, "You're fired! Get out of my desk!" "I'm sorry, sir, but Supreme Commander David Goldstein told me to categorize these emails."
Oh, God. Sir, we're trying to get everyone to stop doing what we're doing, so just, please stop. Just stop. This is madness. You're all dumb.
Okay.
Would you please send that?
It takes a few hours for people to stop what they're doing and go back to normal work, because a lot of them were convinced that their jobs and or asses and or lives were on the line. But the...
What's going on from the emails that I figured out that the aliens are obviously fucking with our security and our emails?
Oh, it's quite obvious to anyone who took the time to actually read. Most people don't even get to the words "your supervisor" at the bottom. They read, "Hand me those TPS reports," and they're like, "Fuck, I didn't get those done. I got to get going on that right away." And they started working on them immediately. And this is like universal.
They're all idiotic.
Yeah, it does appear as though the Feldar somehow correctly interpreted that your entire station would be easily distracted by pointless tasks. And then sent them out to literally everyone, with a few exceptions. Some people they gave incredibly poignant tasks to, like, come learn how to fly our plane, or install weapons on our ships. And it occurs to you that they must have done the things they did to keep everyone else out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
It's genius. It's the
Genius.
it's the highest level of bureaucracy.
It is genius. It is.
They kept every middle manager so booked with meetings that they had no idea that anything was wrong.
It's Office Space on a space station. I love it.
And for some reason, there are 450,000 roast beef sandwiches replicated in the cafeteria.
That is perfect.
Peter Langdon,
Yes, sir.
you complete the obstacle course without too much trouble. At some points, because it is a different vessel, it is something different than you've ever flown. You did skim across some of the rings that they'd set up. But the vessel you're flying in is impervious to the damage. It shredded through the steel beams that were, in space like it was paper. Similar to bumping into a rubber cone during your driving exam. You nicked a few. It still handles better than anything that you have flown since your earliest days on Earth. And the Feldar that you're with, Grebe, seems quite happy and pleased with the results. This is good. You are a natural. You will be able to teach other humans how to fly the ships once we start building them.
Speaking of other ships, Grebe, the other one that we have, the damaged one, is going to require a few spare parts. Do you have a small inventory of spare parts?
We do not, but I could mentally project to you all of the parts that are on the ship. We do not have any spares, though. If we take something out of this ship, it may stop working.
Jim, during this whole chaos, did Arthur eat any of the fruit?
Of course.
Of course. It's probably, then I will tell Grebe, it's probably good to simply project directly into the mind of Arthur Robinson.
I will get the information from him. Because the fruit works for him.
He'll be able to handle many of your repairs a little bit better than I can, as I'm doing a few loop-de-loops and a few barrel rolls and that kind of thing.
And I mean, one of the things you notice is even though you're spinning the ship around and doing flips and whatnot, you don't feel any gravitational forces at all. It's as if the ship is just cutting through space, going in a straight line. And normally with like the Nero, even being near the space station, you'd feel the pull of it. You'd feel like little uncomfortable flutters. It kind of disturbs you a little bit, even like you're used to it being a pilot. So not feeling it there is kind of like sad, almost a little bit. But at the same time, the technology is incredible.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it.
Yep. And then you dock back in Cargo Bay 3 after completing the course, and you settle it down, and they close the airlock and reopen.
Out of curiosity, did our illustrious commander in all of his meetings ever glance out a window and see me zipping on by the station?
No. Surprisingly, very few people had the assignment of stare out the window. Although some people definitely saw you go by because they're building the fucking things, and then you're like, oh, that's why I did that.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What the fuck? Yeah.
As I'm shouting woohoo through the whole thing, and Greed was probably like,
Green.
"We don't get it."
It's fine. He's actually quite... it's hard to tell with them because they're almost constantly smiling when they're not being threatened. But he does seem actually quite happy doing this. Either he views it as important or exciting, or maybe he's just proud. You can't really tell from the facial expression, and he's not really sharing it with you. But he is just constantly smiling and nodding, and when you go through the middle without any trouble, he goes, ooh, When you get back into the station and the doors have opened back up, you realize that the energy on the station has changed dramatically. People are no longer running around with tasks in their hands. Some of them are sort of grumpily stomping around as if they've realized that they've wasted 6 hours of their life. And of course, there is there's a large number of people who are of the fruit at the moment.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, like two people will be standing next to each other, and then the other one will start just punching them for a thought that they had. And then, like I said, two of them just started just making out in the middle of the hall. Others are running around, like, holding their heads, screaming, get out, get out. It's a fucking mess.
They need to learn funny once, funny never.
Yeah, and Samael, who was previously working with Arthur and with Matthias, is actually a bit frightened and rushes back to the ship and is like, let me in, I gotta get away from this shit. Because humans have started going rampant again, and it seems to happen every time they come off their damn ship.
It's because you keep giving out fruit to you.
Yeah, just
Fruit bad.
I will actually explain to both of them. While the three of us are just like quietly aboard the ship and we're all sort of like looking out the porthole, looking at all the chaos, it's like, since humans aren't capable normally of reading each other's minds, it's not something that we're accustomed to. And until they do get accustomed to it, this might be the reaction.
And they both they look at each other confused. They look at you confused. We have never had this reaction before on our planet. When new people eat the fruits, it was always a time of rejoicing. And then Grebe is like, well, there was the one time. And then they're like, oh yeah, the whole we don't use weapons time. At which point, someone outside of the cargo bay grabs a pistol and fires it into the air. People start running and screaming. They hit the floor. They hide behind things. And this individual's yelling, get out of my head. I don't want any of you in my head anymore. I'm sorry I ever ate this fruit. And he points the gun at himself.
Oh, can I stop him? Am I out there?
You are currently hiding behind a crate, and you're about to do something when Jax tackles him to the floor. knocking the pistol out of his hand, and starts holding him down. He's like, you gotta calm the fuck down, man. I know that it's weird, but you'll get used to it. Just calm down. But most people have dispersed and are now running away throughout the station with their new psionic powers at this point.
So while it's the three of us and I point out the danger that just took place, instead of just issuing the fruit to everyone on the station, you may want to run it past some of our medical personnel who are capable of determining who's best to gain these abilities.
So Samael looks at you and goes, perhaps the fruit should only be given to certain people who are mature enough. And then Grebe goes, but the fruit is for all. It is to make us all equal. And Samael goes, no, that is only for Feldar. These humans have a hierarchy. It makes them weak, but also strong.
Well, Grebe, let me explain to you something called Texas Hold'em poker. You see, if everyone is aware of what everyone else's cards are, it kind of diminishes the enjoyment of the experience.
Bluffing is a very foreign concept to them.
Yes, I'm well aware. Oh, trust me, I want to teach these two aliens how to play Texas Hold'em.
We are aware of this game. We have accessed your computer system and downloaded much information. We do not understand how it works. Does not everyone always know all of the cards?
Well, perhaps when you were going through our database, you also came across a game called Secret Hitler. You know, that's another one. Privacy is kind of important for that.
Privacy is important. We have a concept of privacy as well. It is not often, but sometimes we find the need for certain individuals to know information that certain other individuals cannot know. That is why we employ AIs, synthetics.
So I believe you should discuss with our medical personnel qualities that you're looking for that to distribute the fruit. And in my brain, I'm also going to think, but not say out loud, you probably don't want to tell our boss, the station manager, or any of the higher bureaucrats that are trying not to spread the use of the pairs. If they hear that mentally, that's one thing, but I'm definitely thinking it.
Okay, they don't. Or at least they don't indicate that they do. They both nod, though, and they're like, yes, we should talk to Matthias. He is on the medical team, and he trusts us, and he has eaten the pears, and we have seen into his soul. And we have read his mind. He will help us figure out which humans should eat the pears. But also, we have run out of pears.
How soon do they starve?
We only have a few left. And we do not eat meat, which we understand most of your food is no longer made of meat. So that is good. But we might need to try human food. Gross. Bleh.
We'll introduce Jello.
Yeah, here's Jello. Here's a Twinkie. Trust me, there's no food in there. So.
Jello wouldn't work because it is still made of oatmeal.
And they starve.
Really? Really? You think there's bone meal in Jello anymore?
That's an interesting question, and now I want to go read the ingredients.
For Jello?
If there's gelatin in it, gelatin is...
Well, you've gone through our database. Certainly, you've looked at all of the various things that we typically consume. What among those would you like to try?
We will go up to your cafeteria and consume all of the food that you have on display. And we will figure out what is good and what is not good.
How about what is poisonous and not poisonous?
The thought has occurred to them.
Well, do avoid the spam at all costs.
Spam is a synthetic meat. It will probably not taste good to us, as we have grown without the consumption of meat products.
It's synthetic.
Probably.
It is horrifying.
Because it is immoral.
Introduce them to fake bacon.
Yeah, really. You
We
get
are
bacon.
we are very interested in your faking. Okay. We have
Seriously, we're gonna turn them on to Fagin and Tofurkey and the whole vegan line.
Some Mike and Ike's. Here, have some Mike and Ike's.
we have 20 minutes left. I want to move ahead to something that Matthias and Peter Langdon said they were going to do, which is it's time for Peter's semi-annual physical.
Yes.
So, Matthias, if you could roll your medical skill. Do we still have a Stan, or did Stan freeze?
I am here.
Okay. Can you roll your medical skill?
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely spaced.
That's okay. I was using your character name, so it would be tough to
Yes, space.
pick up on it.
All right. Medical. Hold on.
You're doing Peter's physical to see if there's something wrong with him.
My blood pressure may have gone up recently.
So you just want general medicine?
Yes.
I will take my half of 4.
Okay. You take your half of 4. Peter is in fantastic health. However, he is a little bit overweight. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with him.
All his blood work looks normal.
Yep. Blood work looks completely normal. Honestly, compared to most of the people on the station who are in this atmosphere, this gravitational cycle, this, eating the food that you guys do, he's actually in really good health. And this is just the general physical, so there's really nothing that you're deep diving on. There's.
All right, well, I'll tell Peter, you are in excellent shape, better than you should be. But I attribute that to your clean living, I guess.
Just had a couple of lightheadedness, I guess, the past couple of days. Just wanted to make certain that I was okay.
If you want, I can stick your head in the MRI and see what is there.
Sure, why not? I'm already here.
It'll only take a few minutes. I'm assuming MRIs are a lot quicker these days.
Yeah, they are. Okay, roll your medical again, or if you're taking the half of 4.
Just take 4.
Okay, I was going to give you an extra +2 dice, so
okay.
you'll take a half of 5. The brain scan appears normal, completely, almost textbook normal. And you know that Peter did consume one of the pears. You also know from the last couple of days in medical that people who consume the pears have had elevated levels in their hypothalamus, like part of their brain that is not often used, have been sending out detectable signals. You do not know if that happens, 6, 10, 12 hours after the pear has been, digested. But it does not appear that anything is wrong with Peter's brain.
Okay. That's notable. All right, yeah, I show him the pictures,
All right, cool.
You have a very, very nice looking brain.
Thank you, Doc.
This is your brain on pears.
This is my brain on here.
Wow.
Brain is not impaired.
Oh, now it starts.
Somebody hit him.
You take pun damage.
Seriously, you should take pun damage.
Anything else that anyone would like to accomplish?
Yes,
Well-
I'll send you a private email.
Oh, you sent me.
Yeah, if there is in fact plans to put the weaponry on this thing, at some point I'll cross paths with Arthur and ask. And first off, I'll tell him about the spare parts for the other ship. How they don't have an inventory, they'll probably mine send you a link of like the things to do and things to make. And get a general assessment as to how long it's going to take to put all the various weapons on. Since I've been aboard their ship, how many people can suitably be on that ship?
It only has chairs for 2, but you could easily install 2 additional chairs.
Okay.
The ship is large enough that you could add additional chairs to it. The Feldar have explained to you, or perhaps projected onto you, that they typically fly their scout ships, which is what this is, in pairs, a pilot and co-pilot.
Okay.
They have other vessels, but not many left.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. At this stage, I'm sort of like waiting to see how Arthur's going to put all the various weapons on and connect it to their power source, and I will help Jeffries with the repairs of the other ship. But that's sort of what I've got planned in the next, couple of days.
Okay.
Unless we have another, massive bit of chaos. Chaos is fun.
Okay, so anybody else have anything they would like to do before the next session?
Just want to keep myself in the position I've achieved.
There's a lot of chaos following Reply All Gate, and the security codes on the station are changed, and there's a lot of please do not eat the pears are bad, the aliens will read your mind, type of propaganda going around because of the and made all the more relevant because of the security breaches. And it's quite clear that the Feldar, perhaps they didn't even know they were doing anything wrong. They definitely did it. They just walked over to a console in the cargo bay, logged in using the passwords they had read from people's minds, and started sending emails to everyone. And it worked. But they're not... It's hard for the station to blame them, or rather to punish them for it, because it's their own stupidity that got them, that people followed these emails. Like, they were clearly not the smartest written emails.
No, I literally have that written down here. Is everyone on here stupid? Apparently, yes.
Yes. A lot of people definitely are underqualified for the positions that they hold.
Well, we also all work for a crazy person that fires anybody at the drop of a hat for just not listening. So
yeah, a lot of people were worried about their jobs. Yep.
So you get a little conditioned on the, look, you've been ordered to do this, then great, I'll go do it.
Yeah. A lot of memos are coming out saying, please don't read emails and take them as the word. Please go actually confirm with your supervisor before you start doing some shit that you don't think is right. Which goes directly against last month's corporate thing, which was, please email everyone. Email is the most efficient way to communicate with your boss. Now it's, please don't email your boss. Actually go and meet them in person, because...
We can't email each other. It's going to take a while for the email server to come back up.
Yeah, well,
again.
Yeah, it comes back up in 6 or 8 hours after they've dumped all of the useless reports about paperclips.
Phil, one quick thought. Since I missed a couple of game sessions, have you given out experience? I've got 5 down since we started. Have you given out any more?
I have not. I usually wind up giving them when we do time gaps.
Gotcha.
And actually that's where we're going, because after this is resolved, we're going to move ahead a few months to when the Feldar and human technology starts merging, and they start repairing their other spaceship. So that's where we're going to kick off next. So I'm going to award an additional 3 XP to everybody for this arc of the adventure.
Cool.
this sort of first contact arc.
I'll be
Do I
upgraded
maintain my,
to,
power?
Sorry, Ron?
I said, did you get my private notice, or do I manage to remain co-monarch?
I see it here.
I effectively slid into it, and if he doesn't officially slide me out of it, it's going to be very, very useful.
It's the kind of thing where you can get away with it for a little while, but the more things start to return to normal, the more like you go up and you're like, hey, you're supposed to do this. And they go, wait a minute, I better check with my actual boss first before I start doing this. And you find that your power starts waning back to where you were before. Because you don't actually have the authority to do that, even though you temporarily usurped it.
All I was going to send an email that says recommend give it to me.
Yeah, but sir, we're not allowed to just refer to emails anymore. Corporate policy states that I have to actually go and talk to my manager,
Security.
who is not you. Yeah, it's brief. Your stint as station manager is brief, but much remembered. Yeah, Divad the unremarkable. Yeah.
I scored a 2% civilization score. I am sad.
You do manage to do a few things, like, assign a few additional, man hours to your projects, and, put yourself up for a decent promotion sometime in the future. But yeah, long term, you wind up back where you started. They try to keep you in an area where you're actually useful.
I don't get promoted beyond my level of expertise.
No, because when people get promoted, it's the ones who are terrible at their jobs. Because they, that gets them out of the workforce.
Before we time dash, I have one question for the Feldar.
Yep.
Which we want to send to Jupiter, which is, how do we turn off the beacon, and how do they open it?
Okay. Yeah, they'll provide you that information. They'll memory zap you, what the beacon is, how it works, how to disable it. However, how to disable it usually involves looking at it and thinking about it, and then, mentally disabling it, which is only helpful usually if you're under the influence of the fruit.
Not broadcast for like lead or something?
So it's a compound. So you're like, well, what is it made out of? And they explain it to you, and for a few moments you understand it, but pretty quickly it's like, oh no, this requires like a level of metallurgy and xeno technology that I just don't have the groundworks for. Yeah, it's made of something xenoboron, and I can't you're not even sure that they have the materials you need to make it. Somebody who is an expert in that sort of thing might know, but yeah. But you send an email like, this is how you disable the thing. Please do this right away. It's dangerous.
Actually, has anyone sent an email back to Earth explaining anything about this garbage?
Yeah, communications with Earth or with Jupiter Station have resumed, as you know, because the stock market has crashed. That article is legit. The stock price has dropped because suddenly people are like, hey, the thing exploded. And now Earth, all the news is like mysterious alien race contacted. Who are the Feldar? What do they want? Why are they so creepy? What's this fruit they keep making people eat, etc., etc. So, yeah. Thanks for buying the bathwater, Tom.
So the Marines will come here to burn the place down in about a decade when they get hit by slow ships.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you're getting you're aware that you're getting orders to rebuild the jump gate immediately, or repurpose Feldar hyperspace technology so that you can send ships through directly, which might be dangerous. But these orders are coming from people back at MTI headquarters. They're not coming from people here on the station who are aware that the Feldar saved your life.
Well, they think they saved our life.
Or they think they saved your life.
Trying not to get everyone killed. So, interesting circular file. Move on.
Anything else?
Nope.
No, I think that's it for me.
All right. 2 weeks from now is
The second.
the 2nd, Ash Wednesday. I do not have anything planned that day. Does that day work for everybody?
Sure.
It does.
Work me.
Alrighty, I will add it to our calendar.
Wonderful. See you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, have a good night, everybody.
You too.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's go to maybe this. There we go. All right, so it is 10 o'clock. I have a few chores to do. Take the dogs out, get myself something to drink here because my water bottle's almost empty. But I do want to do a post stream. I've got a little something planned, a little Minecraft maybe. And I will come back in about 10 minutes and I'm going to start up a new stream. So this one's going to turn off, refresh in about 10 minutes, and we'll be back. I'll send out an announcement in my Discord channel that I'm coming back. I do want to play more. I want to stay up till 11 o'clock. I have had no video games for a whole week and a few days, and it's driving me nuts. So I need some video games. Unless Dr. Wifey sees me come to get the dog and is like, no, come to bed. But I don't think she's going to do that. I think she's sick of me. I think she's like, oh my god, I've seen this guy too much. So I'm going to go ahead and try to play a little bit more video games. So I will catch you guys in about 10 minutes, 15 at the late end, I hope, for a brief post stream. I'll see you guys very soon.